What's up, guys? Going home right now. Uh, I wanted to talk about my life because I really don't talk a lot except for the things that happen day by day. But I just meant like way I was I don't really remember much growing up except for I remember living in a trailer once. I remember having like ninja stars and stuff. And we like ninjas, me and my brother, and I remember my dad buying me baseball cards. Bought quite a bit of them, not just baseball but football. I think there was some wrestling in there too, because that's was big back then. But I just got to say that I don't remember a lot because I think a lot of it is was pushed aside. I mean, if I sit down and think about like certain things, I probably could put the pieces together and then say, yeah, I remember that. This is what I remember of it. Like I remember the first time I got on skates, I fell on my ass every single time. Every single time I did it. So and every time I used to go to the skating rinks when I was younger, and I would always dance, pretty much, or skate and dance by myself when they called for like couples dancing and stuff like that. I was like always sad because I didn't have a girlfriend, and I think like when I first real girlfriend was like, oh man, I can't remember how old I was. I was between 12 and 15, but nothing ever like happened until I got older and until I met my wife now. But that was just pretty much fillers. I remember bits and pieces of things that went on. When I was cool. Uh, but I think this is perspective because my life is always going to be different than everyone else's. I was born in Idaho in Rexburg, and I don't ever. I've lived in so many states because my parents they I don't want to say they couldn't make it. I just want to say they didn't get. I mean, my parents were buying a house in Idaho before we moved to Nevada, where we pump water, wash Trump. We tried to dig a trench from the pump house to where our trailer was sitting, which was quite a big. It was a big single wide trailer. It took my parents a long time. Well, my dad a long time to get to where we lived at because we lived. Let's see, 30 miles or no, 15 miles from the nearest highway, and then I think another 15 miles to the nearest town. Well, an actual town, because it had a town called Mina, I believe it was. It wasn't a very big town, but that's just what it was. I know it's going to be dark, guys, because, like I said, I'm driving home. It is like 4 in the morning, and I got to be cautious. I'm not even going to look at the phone, even though it's making a little bit of a light, but it's no bother to me. Uh, Thanks for whoever was just watching, whoever that was. If you made a comment, that'd be great. If you didn't, it's even better. At least you saw it though. But anyways, I want to get back to what I was talking about. I know I've lived a long life, and I don't know everything. I'm never going to know everything, but I am going to know my reality versus yours better because I'm doing it and you're not. But I can say that it doesn't matter what reality you're in or think you're in. It's that's not the end game. It's not waking up and you're 70 years old and then just looking back and saying, wow, like I didn't do shit. I didn't do shit for myself or, anyone else around me because I was so in my own bubble that, I cared more about the things that didn't really matter and on what I really liked or loved or wanted to do or just wanted to be for the rest of your life. Like if you wanted to be, a housewife and that excited you and that's what you wanted to do and that's great. I mean, you can only do that for so long because, kids grow up and then they move out of the house and they do their own shit. That's life. Uh, that was kind of cool. But, turn on the light here. But I think most people don't look at any other perspective because like I said, they worry about what everyone else thinks about them. They worry about, their day to day activities, their work. Their boss might be a jerk, or whatever it may be. But I think the most singular perspective you should have that to still do the things that you love, sacrifice the things that matter the most to you. Because if you do, you're shooting yourself in the foot. A lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, most people don't even. I think I'm just blowing it out of my ass, and that's great. You're gonna get to that point, I promise you. Wherever you're at in your life right now, if good or bad, you're gonna get to that point where like you're gonna think, "Wow, is this really going on in my life? I mean, do I really like doing this every single day and I'm never getting anywhere because all I'm doing is working for that next thing I want to buy." And I think a lot of people still have that mentality and they're like, oh yeah, you get it, shiny new thing, a new video game. And I keep talking about that because it's true. I see it because I work at Walmart. I mean, I see people shopping every single day. I mean, I told a story on my Instagram video, which didn't upload for some reason, but uh, maybe it did. I don't know. But I saw a lady come in. Uh, she was there for a couple hours or so. She left. Well, she was trying to leave, and she talked to me. She's a very kind lady, and she was saying stuff about she was a teacher and she just came to get photos that she had to pick up, and she met a couple of students that she used to teach, and they're all grown up now, and she was kind of frustrated that she was there for a long time, and I told her, I was like, you've impacted a lot of people, and you can't imagine how many people will appreciate that when they get older because they look back at those times. Like I remember my sixth grade teacher, Mrs. Engel. She was fucking awesome. Like I gotta say this too because I know she may or may not ever watch this, but there was this one time she told me to watch her house. I know I'm going off task here, but she told me to watch her house, and I was getting ready to. She told me what day to come over, and I was going to go there. I was supposed to feed the cats and stuff. And then, when I was about to do it, I looked in her back fence, and she was back there in her hot tub, and she wasn't wearing any clothes. And that was just the weirdest thing ever. I had the vision. I mean, I can't remember what she looked like then, but still, like little things that might have impacted you, or even big things. Like Mrs. Ingalls, she gave me so many chances. I didn't like school, but there were some teachers that made things easier to learn because they focused more on the person instead of the curriculum, and that I think honestly would help everyone if you had an understanding with your teacher. And I mean, my kids go through it too. Like, they'll say, "Oh, this teacher doesn't teach well, and they don't reach me," and and I tell them, I was like, if you don't ask, you're never gonna know, and you're gonna be stuck, and you're gonna play catch up because you're not understanding, what it is that's going on. But to get back to what I was talking about before, she told me to write down something I had told her, and I did, and she said she was going to use that, uh, and remember that when these times come up, because, like I said, no matter who you talk to in your whole life, in your whole life, you never know what that person is going to do when they get older. If they're your same age or even younger, but you never know what's going to happen, um, at all, ever, until you have that interaction. And most people are scared to do that. And not only that, they just want to get in, get out, or do whatever that they're doing at the time, because they're more focused on getting back to their life. I can't stress that enough, to be honest, though. You gotta pay attention to everything and everyone. Not that you have to get into everything and everyone, meaning you don't have to, like, hear people's gossips and pass that on. And even though that get a good listener, I guess you want to say, I think that obviously that when people do that, they focus more on other people instead of what their goals are. But what I'm talking about is when you watch people, you can see or sense the semblance of who they are. And if you do that, if you ever have an interaction with that person, you know how to talk to them, you know how to come up with a conversation, or see things their way or your way or whatever it may be. But I deal with that all the time. I see people frustrated. I see people not wanting to do their daily job because it's a nuisance to them. And most people don't realize that if you get to a spot where you can do something that you think is most beneficial to you, your life, your family, or whoever it may be, you're not going to care. You're you're going to start thinking, okay, well, I don't care what this person says, or I'm not going to react to, Jim Bob, because that's another person I've known growing up when I lived in Arkansas. It's pretty weird, but anyways, I I honestly think that if you just took some time and focus on other people sometimes, because in reality, when they get older, they might help you out. They might be able to, lift your spirits when you're down. You never know. Uh, I see it all the time, because, like, when I talk to people, they come in, I greet people, because I know that they're their own person. They have their own thoughts and feelings and stuff. I I genuinely believe that if I have that interaction, or try to have that first interaction with them on their way out, it'll be the same, if not better, if they had a good experience in the store, or stuff that's going on in their life. They might even stop and talk about it, which is awesome. And I really do value that experience. And I know it's going away because they're taking away the door greeters again. So I'm probably going to have to go back to, zoning all night long instead of only doing it for 4 hours. So I really want to say that I really do. I really do not like the fact that they're getting rid of the door greeters. It's not. I mean, there's a plethora of reasons why. I can name just a few. Theft. It's not a stop and end all things for a greeter to check receipts, but it's a deterrent. And that right there affects my bonus when someone steals stuff. It's it is a everyday life thing. I mean, like, what's gonna happen if people keep stealing from you. That if you do get any incentive, that that's gonna go down a little because there's no one there to stop them besides you know the AP team that they have, which takes a long time, to be honest. That's just collecting evidence and blah 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 blah. That's just but I really do not appreciate that they're getting rid of them. Not because I'm gonna have to go back and zone. Uh, my back isn't 100% healed. I'm still doing my daily stuff, but I really think that I can help people, and that's one big way I've been able to do that with some people. Like talking to this 121-year-old I've discussed on my Instagram. She came in and she she was sitting down, and we got to talking. She said her boyfriend is a firefighter. He got called out, so she was stuck there because he had taken the only vehicle that they had. So she was stuck there. So we had a conversation. We talked about you know life and who she was. She was a rodeo queen. She did promotions and stuff like that, and she was a very inspiring person because she needed to go to Denver or wanted to go to Denver, but she was still on the fence with it because her boyfriend's here and his job's solidified here. But she wanted to go there and go to school for a year and then do whatever she needed to do in life, which was massage therapy, which was pretty awesome because does take a lot of patience and knowledge to be able to help people physically, and not only that, I mean, hopefully that helps them spiritually, whatever that does for them. But she had that all figured out. Plus, she also had her own product already. She was making her own salves and stuff, and she's concocted all this, and she's already branded it and selling it on Facebook. And I told her, it's like, you could brand that stuff for real and put it on Amazon, and your whole life will change. Like, and not only that, I mean, you still have all this other business that you have put aside that you could do at any time in your life because you're still young. You're 21 years old. But the most, I guess, want to say that the most miraculous thing about this woman is that she had a horse falling on her, and she couldn't move her bottom legs, and that was really a big detriment to her life, her psyche, everything. She started eating a lot. She was just going down that tunnel of depression that people sometimes go to, and she tried the medical way, the way that the doctors wanted her to go, and it wasn't working. So she selected to go like a homeopathic way, and found this guy that really changed her life. Um, he helped her physically, spiritually, mentally. Helped her with her fears, helped her with getting better, and it really helped her. And she's able to walk now, like she's able to do and function and enjoy the life that she always wanted. And that right there touched me because that right there is what made her self-aware, what made her the complete person that she is right now. And I know that that's going to make her win in the long run. And I got a chance to talk to her because, to be honest, she was, like I said, she was on the fence of even going to the school to get certified, and she could have her own little business besides her 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 salves and stuff that she's doing, her oils and stuff. Uh, she could literally have this business where she has her own stuff. She goes to people's places or wherever she needs to go, and she does the massages there. And people do that. That is a good business. I'm almost home. Uh, but she, like I said, she was on the fence with it. And I told her, I was like, "You're 21. Why not?" I was like, "I'm almost twice as old as you are. I mean, not really, but close enough." And I just figured this shit out. If I was your age, what be self-aware do, and I know, don't watch me what I'm doing, but you know, it's just life in that perspective to where you know where you need to go and how you need to treat people. It's it's not hard to explain, but I think a lot of people are still hard headed because they still want to be stuck in that world. But this so young, she's so beautiful. Like I told her, I was like, that you you're a rodeo queen, and I asked her, I was like, what do you think sold you being a rodeo queen? I go, do you think it was the advertisement, or do you think it was you? The way you looked, you're being beautiful. And she goes, that's what I thought it was. And I go, you're absolutely correct. And to be honest, I was like, you know, I know it might sound a little sexist, but you could, promote your product on YouTube. You could show everything that you're doing on YouTube to get awareness and whatnot, and people will flock to you because you're pretty, because you're beautiful, because you're gorgeous. That's exactly the truth. And then I didn't want to, I wasn't hitting on her or anything like that. She never got that vibe because she, I even asked her, I go, well, did you need anything? And she's like, if I didn't feel comfortable or safe or whatever, I wouldn't even be sitting here still. So like we had this rapport together almost instantly, um, because she knew a couple people that I knew, and I knew people that she knew. So it was hand in hand there. But I told her, I was like, you could put this stuff on YouTube. You could advertise this and not even have to spend any money because this is free. It's free that I'm able to speak to you guys live. I'm using my own internet right now. I'll probably cut out maybe some of this, and you probably didn't want to see or hear any of this, but this is the real reality of life, guys. It really is. Others as others do unto you has been a thing I've remembered since I was really young. Um, it wasn't from my parents. I think it was from school, I believe. But it was a really lifelong lesson that it doesn't really resonate until you actually experience it. It doesn't. And the only way to get out of the bubble that you're in is to open up, is to uh, look around, see your perspective, and then look at someone else's perspective. You mean you might have a brother or a sister that is totally, completely different than you are, but yet you know them, right? They're your brother or sister. So, like, you most likely are going to bend towards them, meaning you're going to act a different way when you're around them than you are separately because you know them. So, you're going to act the way that you normally would with them. So, I mean, it sounds really confusing, but it's not really because I, when I, or my dad or my sister, I mean, I'm like this. This is how I am. This is how I've been since I've been out of the house. Like I've changed, of course. I've grown up mentally, but I still haven't grown up physically. I just want to say, love making people smile. That's always been my thing, but I've always been a person to, take things at fault. Like, at home, if something happens, I've got to own up to it because, if not, it's going to come back to me anyways. So, but I tell on myself if I do anything wrong anyway. So, like, it don't matter. This video is going to be super long, guys, because I don't take a lot of time to make YouTube videos, mostly because the way that it's done, it's not like I said, it's not like Instagram where I can just do a quick little thing. I could do that and I could make it live every time, but I really don't like making titles, to be honest. I just like it there. I don't really care, to be honest, about the title. I just want people to hear the message. You know, like I was telling you in the beginning, I don't remember much. I do remember I was uh my dad was driving really fast, and I was in his truck. It was a single cab. I remember, I believe, I was trying to go outside. I was trying to leave the door as he was driving because I remember that there was a light to go to, and that's where I wanted to go. Uh, I was shot when I was 5. Uh, I don't remember all of it because a lot of it was a blur. I do remember, like I said, I do remember the light. It was a light. I don't know what it was, but that's how I can explain it right now. Um, I was shot in my back area, and it went up, broke my collarbone, uh, came back in. It's in my head. It's like right here, somewhere around here, by my optical nerve. So I remember being in the hospital. I remember um, getting my first video game ever. Also, my first puppet, which was Kermit the Frog, which didn't look like Kermit the Frog, but it was a hand puppet. But my first video game, handheld, it was like, I think it was like that big, about as big as my head. I could be wrong, but it was the first Pac-Man game. I don't know what happened to that game, but I got the Pac-Man. I remember told that I wouldn't be able to walk. I remember being uh, in the emergency room, and my parents in there, and the doctor leaving, and my parents were not happy about what they were talking about. I don't know what he said. I wasn't there mentally, I guess you want to say. But I remember one day I woke up. I went to the lounge, and I guess there was a lot of nurses in there, and I was dancing on the table, or dancing on the floor or something. But every time I think about that, I think, life is short. And this is, but I know life is short. Anything can happen in life. Um, like I said, my perspective is always going to be different than everyone else's. But I do know that the things that I've gone through in life, I've lost a brother, and his birthday's coming up soon, and I know my mom I know my mom is not thrilled about it. I know my mom is not, she's not, she comprehends life, but she takes depression really bad. And if you're watching this, mom, I love you coming, and I want to support you as much as I can. Uh, but I know a lot of things have happened in my life and happened in my parents' life because they've struggled. I remember, I remember my parents telling me, and I've seen a picture too. But I remember my parents telling me that we used to live in a tent uh, by the river, and uh, I guess one day we all went out. Not sure if my sister was born yet, but I guess we all went out and we came back, and people had gone through and stole a lot of our stuff. And my dad, I assume he probably freaked out. Um, but my dad didn't quit. We didn't stay homeless for a long time. My dad did a lot of things that I don't know. I'm pretty sure he worked his ass off to do whatever he could. And I know that when my dad tried to reach out to uh, his family members, my my uncles and aunts, they he didn't get the help that he thought he would get, which really made me sad because if that was me, I would have done everything that I could have. You know, I can't I can't stand to see any person, doesn't matter who they are, to go through any tragic, experience alone because everyone needs help. Everyone needs, something, a cushion or a person or something to help them along with the, things that happen in life. Oh, my back. Ugh. And if they don't get that, they resort to, things that are um, not positive. I mean, there's a lot of things that people do. I mean, suicide. There's a, like I said, my mom goes through depression. So I mean, stuff is real. But I choose to keep positive because if I don't keep positive, I will never see what I am here for. I know what I'm here for. I just got to show everyone else. So I mean, this might be a daily vlog in a sense. I do most of mine on Instagram. Uh, I hope I'm gonna try to like make sure all these titles are fixed because I'm tired of it showing some of the old things. But I've had a lot of tragedy in life too, but I can't let it face me. I've lost a house that I was trying to buy when I first started my family. You know, the job market wasn't great. Uh, I was only getting so many hours, and I had to travel 15 miles, and you know, they didn't pay me enough because I didn't have enough hours to work in order for me to have enough gas to pay all my other bills to be able to have gas to go to work in the first place, and I couldn't even get assistance through uh, what was it? Whatever the employment place is. Anyways, I wasn't able to get assistance to them because I was basically the one quitting, which I couldn't even get there anyways, and they didn't understand it, and they didn't care pretty much. So I've had to lose a lot of things to be able to gain more perspective. I hope you guys don't have to go through that growing up. However old you are, I hope you could see that life will take you wherever it takes you, but if you do things right, you'll get there faster. I guess that's all I have to say. Uh, I hope you guys do realize that I do these things um, and open up because I don't want just people to know me. I just want people to hear like I said, I want people to hear the message and understand that life is not a game, but you can play it like a game. Meaning, you have the knowledge, you have everything at your fingertips to learn everything that you want, that you love. You could study and you could learn all this stuff, and it really could take you, days, weeks, months, even years, but you still have that at your fingertips, and yet people still choose to live in the bubble. I'm not there no more. I'm not. But I wish I wasn't there a long time ago. But can't change that now. Anyways, it is 4:39. I am probably just gonna go inside and get a little snack, take my meds, and go to bed, and wake up in 3 hours. So I hope this was enjoyable for you guys. If you guys do like this, leave a comment or anything. Thumbs down this if you want. I'll thumbs up it if I can. Can I even do it on this video? Probably not, but I'll thumbs up it later because I like it. Again, um, if you guys have any questions, concerns, issues, anything that you go through that you need help with, I'm here. I'm not the biggest, business savvy person, but I do know business. I do know supply and demand. I do know basic things, but I do know technology. That's my biggest thing. It's always been that way. I remember when I was young, I asked my uncle for computer parts, and he did, and I built my own computer just by trial and error, pretty much. And then I've done that for a long time. So it's been wow, like 18 years. Can't believe that, man. But I'm almost 37. 30th, March 30th, my birthday. If you want to send me anything, that'd be great. I'm just kidding. I don't care. But I do really hope that you guys have, if not my perspective in mind when you watch this or listen to this, that you also look at your life and compare it and say, you know, I've done this or I've had this happen to me, but yeah, I'm still here, still alive. I still have my wits. I still have this new technology or the technology that you grew up with, which I didn't really have when uh, I remember Macintosh and playing, you know, wow, what was that game? Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at remembering things sometimes. Oregon Trail, that's what it was. I remember that. But I didn't have all this right now. This would have been awesome back then because I would have done this my whole life if I had to. Well, no, if I had the stuff to do it, that's what I meant to say. But I didn't because I was thinking about buying the new things all the time. And I hope you guys can get out of that mentality. If not, you know what? Shoot me a message. We'll talk. I'll help you. Maybe not, I can't help you financially because I'm poor as hell too. But hopefully that changes. We'll see. Talk to y'all later, guys. I'm getting tired.